Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Real News Talk Show. I'm your Real News host coming to you today with another story. This story is about A.J. Armstrong Jr. in Houston, Texas. You remember the story about the teenager that allegedly killed both of his parents in a prestigious area in Houston, Texas, which is called Bel Air area. The couple had a gym in Bel Air. It was a very nice gym. They were professional people and they were raising their children to be professional. The couple had adopted a son, which was the oldest son, and then they had a son, A.J. Armstrong Jr., and a young daughter. The couple was found dead, actually in their home, but their son, I think, called 911 and reported the deaths. The trial was a mistrial last year, and so they put it off after the mistrial because people couldn't come up with whether the jury couldn't come up with whether he did it or not. You had, I think, more found him guilty than not. However, I think everyone has to be on the same accord when you find someone guilty. The trial, it was really, 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 really something. It was an intense trial, and everyone was on pins and needles, wondering what was going to come out of the trial because of the fact of the witnesses. Then AJ attorney said that it could have been his brother. And my take is that because the brother was adopted, I said, why would they say it was the brother when in fact the phone call showed that the brother and the mother was on good terms and AJ and the mother was not. Another reason why most of the jurors found him guilty was because of the fact that he lied to the police. Anytime you lie to the police, it is to save your butt. If you're going to lie to the police when they come on a scene, when they investigated the scene and they asked him, had he seen the gun? And at first he said no, then he said yes. But when he said no, he didn't just say yes. They went and saw a bullet hole in the room. They saw where he had already used the gun to shoot in the room. And the other side pulled out the pillows, showing that A.J. Armstrong had actually, the junior had actually practiced with that gun, shooting through pillows just like they were killed. It was pretty cut and dry, along with the fact that he and his parents had been getting into it because he was taken away from the prestigious school, from the basketball. He was a big star basketball player. And then also because of the fact they had taken his car and his girlfriend had called him when he couldn't come and get her and she was in Galveston. And, it was just a whole lot of things that was actually pointing to A.J. Armstrong Jr. I mean, no one wants to see a young man go to prison. No one wants to see anybody go to prison. But no one escapes the GOAT, and especially when you kill your own parents, allegedly, with all the proof pointing towards him as the killer. They didn't see anyone else. They're not looking for anyone else. They still have him with the ankle chain on his ankle just to make sure he don't run away. I mean, with that chain on his ankle, I know he thinks about that every day, because that's something to have to walk around with a chain on your ankle. And all it's going to do is remind you that your parents were shot to death with pillows over their head. Another thing, they paid other people to come in and testify, but the alarm was armed. because he had to open the door for the cops to get in by disarming the alarm. It showed no signs of anyone else other than AJ and his sister, who allegedly was asleep. The only people that could have done it would have been him or his sister, and she was ruled out. And the note could have come from anywhere. It was a note saying, "I've been watching you." That note could have come from anywhere. It didn't even have to be A.J. Armstrong Jr.'s signature. It could have been anybody's signature. But someone killed those beautiful people, and someone has to pay. I mean, I hate to say it, but all the evidence pointed to the young man. And so therefore, that was why most of the jurors found him guilty. The other ones couldn't find him guilty because A.J. Armstrong is a very handsome young man. He looks a very professional young man. And I'm quite sure if he did it, he really hate that he did. However, the damage is done and someone has to pay. And so I think his attorneys were trying to get the case dismissed. However, it hasn't been dismissed yet. But it has been delayed because it was supposed to start on Monday the 6th. And online I was reading that they pushed it back 4 to 6 weeks. And I understand how his grandmother feels. I really do. I mean, I understand. But me personally, if I had a grandson and he killed my daughter, and I know it was two grandparents there. If he killed my daughter or son, and he has to live with me, I just couldn't live with no one that I would even think would even have a mindset to do that. Because once a murderer, it's a murderer. The vibes, the energy of the person, everything in their mind, because whatever it was in their mind, whatever it was in a murderer's mind that made them murder someone, not one person but two, it was there. It was in their mind, body, soul, and spirit. Just like rapists. Once a rapist, always a rapist. Once a child molester, always a child molester. Yes, because it was done. The damage was already done. And it had to be something in the mind of a person when they go around and hurt people. And what would make me think that it wouldn't happen to me? I could say the wrong thing. I could do anything wrong. I could not look the way they want them to look. You just don't know people these days. I don't give a damn who it is. And wrong is wrong and right is right. And I don't know how anybody could live with themselves if they killed their parents. And when all the evidence is pointing that way, somebody has to pay. Now, if A.J. Armstrong didn't do it, even though all the evidence showed that he did, then God will step in and he will still pay. Because the piper has to pay, and nobody escapes the goat. Because in the mind, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. And I know many people have done things to people and they have gotten off. But their minds, they have went crazy. They have killed themselves. People have done all kinds of things that have hurt people because deep down inside, when they know they did and they got to walk around with a lie, either way it goes, a murderer will pay. Remember when O.J. Simpson paid because something snapped in his mind to make him bring a gun to go and redeem his own merchandise? See, it was a trick, something that tricked him to going to get his own merchandise, and he had to pay for allegedly the case with his wife and Ron Goldman. You see what I'm saying? If he did it. You see? So everybody has to pay. Just like that guy that allegedly helped kill Bobby Christina, Nick Gordon, he's gone. Whenever someone does wrong, I don't give a damn who it is before they leave this heaven and earth right here. They can walk around, act like they didn't do it. They can fool people that love them around them. I don't give a damn. They're going to pay because those people didn't create these murderers and stuff. Only God sits high and He's the one that will make them pay. You see what I'm saying? And many, 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 many people confess to their crimes later. Because you see how the young man that got out of jail, he was in prison for what, 9 or 10 years for something he didn't even do. You have people that are sitting in prison right now today, you guys, that did not commit the crime, and something such as killing 2 people, parents, good parents with pillows over their head, with a gun that was practiced on in the same house with the alarm armed. The man was in jail, prison, and they said for stabbing someone on Montrose in Houston, Texas, when indeed it was not him. You see what I'm saying? And it was an African American man, and the Caucasian guy came out and admitted that it was him that did the crime. So you have people that didn't do it go to jail. People that did it, some don't go to jail. But really they did go to jail. People that did it, they're in prison in their own minds. And that's just the way it is. There's no way around it. Me, you, or anybody else that do anything wrong, your conscience will eat you alive. And like I said, if I had a grandson, until he was cleared, I'd be sleeping with one eye open. Because a murderer to me is a murderer. Especially in a situation. But some parents or even grandparents would say, well, I'd rather have him since I don't have my other son or my daughter. You see, I don't have my son. He's already dead. He's already killed them, or they've already killed them, and it's better to have somebody than nobody. That's not the case. That's not the case because, like I said, a person can snap and get mad. If they got that angry in their own mind, it could happen again. It could happen again. And so all I'm saying is that if A.J. Armstrong did do it, Jr., killed his parents, if he did, then he will pay in one way or the other, regardless to if they find him guilty or innocent. But for them to still have him on the ankle monitor is something very strong to it because of all of the evidence. He was very blessed to even walk and be out this long with the evidence that was presented in court. With the pillows, and I think it was some residue somewhere, and then the lies to the cop, and then the alarm, and this and that and this. The drugs, the parents taking the car from him around the same time, and it was just a whole lot of stuff going on. And so with that type of evidence, he's very, 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 very lucky to not have gotten time, when in fact this man did 9 years that didn't do anything, and he got time. See what I'm saying? And you have to read people vibes, energy, presence, friendliness, nice movements. But when somebody's stiff and hard and straight, too straight and stuff, you got to watch out. You got to watch out, and eyes tell the story. You can't hide eyes. And actually, when I saw the commercial on TV, and it's going to be on Monday, I kind of was like, why would he even do that? Because that could really hurt his case, actually. Because everybody's going to be reading his presence, reading his vibes. They've already been saying, oh, he looks like, you can just feel it all over him. You can just read him. You can tell he did it. His presence, his energy, his stiffness, his this, his that. they're going to pick A.J. Armstrong Jr. apart. Because anytime you're on TV like that and talking and interviewing, people are going to check out that demeanor. Remember, just like they did Nick Gordon, Bobby Brown's, Whitney Houston's daughter's boyfriend. Remember how he was on an interview? I think it was it with Dr. Phil or someone? And he just jumped up and walked out. He didn't even want to, you see? So he had that temper attitude, and now he's gone off of this earth. And like I say, the way a person is the way they are. And if a person murdered, they are considered a murderer. A multi-murderer for killing two people. Not one, but two, and a calculated, premeditated murderer. Especially when you practice to do it. And that's all I got to say, you guys. I don't wish nobody no harm. And A.J. Armstrong Jr. should want the best for his parents also. Justice has to be served, regardless to who did it. Justice has to be served for those two beautiful people. I mean, why would everybody else want to be walking around and it took the life of two beautiful people that was trying to raise their kids and gave them the best of everything? Even adopted a son that everybody was trying to put it on just because he had a bad fall on drugs. You see what I'm saying? And he was just a prime suspect for them to they wanted to put it on him because of the fact that of the situation. Oh, he lived around the corner, he this, that, and the other, and that, and this, and that, and that. If there are any other suspects, why come they're not talking about finding them? Why? I just don't understand it. Why not? If there are other suspects and they thought it was other suspects, don't you think we would have been hearing that in the news? Or we're still looking for the suspects who killed A.J. Armstrong Jr.'s parents. They're out there, you guys. I haven't heard that. Have you? If you have, let me know, please. And I'm not trying to wish any bad luck on A.J. Armstrong Jr., his family. My condolences go out to them. All I'm saying is, from evidence that was in that house that night, it was pointing towards him. And if it was pointing towards anyone else, why aren't they trying to find them? Why? Where are they? I don't even hear in the news they're even looking for anybody else. So evidently it seems like they're pointing it towards him. But I'm going to get off of that story right now. I just wanted to bring that to you because it's all over TV. They're going to do an interview with A.J. Armstrong Jr. on Monday. And justice has to be served for his parents. And he should want it. His grandparents should want it. And everybody else should want it because those people did not deserve to die like dogs with nobody putting no pillow over their head and shooting them like they were low down dirty dogs. Justice has to be served for them. And that's just the bottom line. Nobody escapes killing people and get by with it. I mean, I know people they have looked for years and years and years, and they found them. They found them. When people thought they were getting away for 30 years. Remember that little guy out of Los Angeles, and he was killing prostitutes all over the U.S., and they got him 25, 30 years later, and he had to admit it, and he remembered every woman he killed. That's what I'm saying. Once a killer, always a killer. And he had to pay for it. He's in prison right now paying for it, and a whole lot of other people. Like that guy that just admitted to stabbing that guy on Montrose. For 10 years, he was out while the innocent man was in serving his time. You see what I'm saying? But justice have to be served for A.J. Armstrong Sr. and his wife. Bottom line, I'm all about the justice. I'm not trying to bash nobody. Even A.J. Armstrong should want justice served for their murders. Period. Period. I couldn't even want to walk around out here if I know I killed somebody. I mean, that would take, only way I could do that is I was a narcissist. If I knew that I killed somebody, especially my parents, I don't know how, I couldn't do it unless I was a narcissist. A narcissist are people that nobody ever believed that they would ever do it. People that look innocent, know what to say, know how to talk, know how to look straight, know how to walk tall, know how to dress, know how to say yes ma'am, no ma'am. All of the things that another person would want to hear about a good person is what a narcissist can do. And nobody would ever think that they have done anything wrong. But all they're doing is fooling themselves. Because you know why? Because God knows who did what and when they did it. And justice will be served. I can't say that A.J. Armstrong, personally come out and say that A.J. Armstrong did it, because I wasn't there. I didn't see it. Let's get that straight right now. So for those of you that are listening, and if anybody put thumbs down on my video, that's guilt. They are guilty, just as guilty as a murderer, and would be, in my mind, considered as being a murderer or a murderer protector. Because all I'm saying is the evidence was in the house. It wasn't outside of the house. That's all I'm saying. I can't say who did it. All I can say is the evidence was in the house. And it's up to the law to say who did it. And like I said, I'm still wondering where is the murderer if he wasn't in the house, because I don't hear them saying anything about they're still looking for the murderer. All the focus is on A.J. Armstrong Jr. A.J. Armstrong Jr. and his grandmother and all of them, I don't hear anybody saying they're looking for the murderer who killed their kids. I don't. And nobody do. It's not on TV. But it's on TV about A.J. Armstrong Jr. And the lady was saying, if you did it, if they find you guilty, what would you do? Blah, 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 blah. What about a news show about what are we going to do to find the murderer of these two beautiful people that was high class in society, young, feisty, energetic, living and trying to be happy and trying to raise their kids the right way, and probably got on them like my mother did on me and my dad. They stayed on top of us to make sure that we would turn out to be better people. And we had no thoughts about killing our parents or anything. Matter of fact, we better not even mumble under our tongue. Oh no, they didn't play that at all. So sometimes kids get spoiled too, and they have their way and they talk back to their parents. You hear that stuff all the time. So again, I'm not saying that A.J. Armstrong did it. But if he didn't do it, that's what I'm saying. Who did it? Because they're not looking for him. And the ankle chain is only on A.J., not on no one else. Where is the murderer of those two beautiful people who was shot in their heads with pillows over their head, and it happened inside of the house, not outside? Tell me. Where's the murderer? Is everybody going to take up some money to go and find these murderers that kill these people? Don't seem like nobody else is interested, because they feel that they already have the murderer. Allegedly. At least that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing it. And so I'm going to end my show with that, but it's really going to be something to see. It really, really is, because that was a real, I was reading, even his attorney said it's going to be a tedious trial, because everybody's wondering, well, who they're going to bring on next. What other evidence are they going to have, on the other side? Whatever, on the DA side, what other evidence that they have that they held out for this trial. And then on AJ's side, they're going to be like, what other evidence are they going to have to try to help him tell why the bullets was in his room from the same gun? And whatever evidence are they going to have to say why was the alarm armed in the house? And the other team is going to come up with something about the little note that was sitting by the gun. And why would a killer leave his evidence behind in the house on the counter? Most criminals, everybody knows it, they're not trying to leave no weapon behind. They're trying to come in with one and they're trying to run out with it and go discard it elsewhere. And if a person in the house saw them, they're going to kill them too and run with the gun. So this stuff is crazy. It is crazy. And I just want to end my show with that, you guys. So please click like, share, and subscribe. And justice has to be served for Mr. and Mrs. Armstrong Sr. And that's the bottom line. And that's what AJ should be saying too. I need justice for my parents. I need justice for my parents. I want to find out who killed my parents. That's what people want to hear, because nobody has heard that yet. Everything has been like trying to tell why he shot the gun and why he was in the house when they were murdered. That's what everything is about. It's not about ever hearing anybody say they want to find the killer. And that's all I got to say. And if it was my parents, I want to know who the killer is. And I'm going to get on TV and blast it and say, I want to know who the killers of my parents are, because everybody's thinking it's me and it's not. I haven't heard that. Please click like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be coming back with more. And like I said, if anybody clicked down, it's only because of guilt. Thank you for tuning in to the Real News Talk Show. Bye.